Hello and welcome to the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. I'm Mohit Lalwani, your host and guide. And as always, we've got a cracking show ahead for you. Well, this one's special because we have a tribute to one of the greatest legends of Indian horse racing, Carl Umriga. Well, he was like a comet. He shone for a short period, but everything he touched turned to gold.
Carl Umriga was a jockey with mettle. In a brief stint that ended abruptly due to his tragic fatal fall in a race, he had made waves and was hailed as a champion jockey with racing in his blood. The young lad had the temperament to match his riding talent and was looked upon as the jockey for big occasions. Racing professionals still recall Carl Umriga as a young boy with remarkable dedication and youthful enthusiasm in his approach to racing.
Carl Umriga would have been one of the best jockeys we had in India. He was one of the most wonderful persons, very sincere, and I had the good fortune of him riding my horse called Super Saturn. And I asked him, Carl, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to win the race. And he did win it. And he was very unassuming, very simple, and according to me was very majestic also. Majestic in the sense he was young and he did not have ifs and buts, and a feeling of great dignity which was there where others lack it today.
I remember him as a very simple human being. He used to work for my brother, late brother Bal Lagat, with whom he won the maximum number of classics on Royal Turn, Tulipa, and those memories can never go away. And he was very dear to Bal Lagat, who treated him like a son. And I always remember him coming to the stables on a cycle, never on a car or a scooter, even when he was doing so well. And mingling with the staff, spending time with the Saises, and not hanging around with the owners and the big guys. He was a very simple human being, down to earth.
He was one of the best jockeys I had ever seen. I think Vasant Shinde, him, these are all-time great jockeys. We were so closely associated because of my brother, late brother. We were very close to him. It's a great family. People like Carl come once in many, many years. Or you may never see another one like him.
As a professional, Carl was very dedicated to his work. He will always be in the morning of the early morning, he will be there to the work. Carl will come along with Mr. Dara Pandol because he has to ride that horse every time. He will tell me, sir, Uncle Dara will never allow me to go. Please, I will work your horses. So actually was so much attached. And he used to love the horses. As soon as the handicap comes for him, Carl will run to my stable, tell me, what can I ride for you? What can I ride this? He won 15 races called that season when he died. This is unfortunate, such a good boy. I had to plan him up. One day I had a filly called Dear Donna. She came to me from the other stable. He saw the filly, he came running to me, sir, you got a very good filly. I said, I will give it to you, don't worry. And he won finally on that also. He was a very sweet boy, dedicated to his work. And I still remember when he in the walks. On the morning of the walks, he came to the work. I asked him, Carl, today you are riding this filly. Sir, I will make them run. You see how I am going to ride. And he won the walks. And one day I remember the race, he rode on to me to ethics. And when Shinde was riding something else of Mr. Ashwin Mehta's filly colt, I don't know, Rashida. Both of them fought 3 furlong in the top of the straight whole race to win the race. Finally, Carl got him in a short head. And when I went to lead him, Carl said, I am finished. I am finished, sir. He said, he's a great boy. He got took us away. He's a child, absolutely a child, lovable child. Like, you can talk to him. He was so humble, very humble boy, very sweet boy. I would say, best of the riders, he would have been matched with him. Great jockey.
The Carl Umriga Turf Championship was a race initiated last year in memory and honor of one of the youngest Indian champion jockeys of all time. 6 top-class runners were in the fray to vie for this prestigious race, and Carl's brother-in-law Pacey Shroff had sent out Onassis to bring home this trophy. Native Knight was back on home turf after a splendid show in Bangalore, where he finished a hairline second in the Stayers Cup. He looked in fine fettle as well in the paddock. Ciel Ore was not in the betting but had the looks of a frontline contender. He has won in the Western India circuit and the connections did secretly fancy his chances. Onassis had been in good touch this season after a drop in form at Pune. It is common knowledge that Pacey Shroff was sentimental about this race, so Onassis duly was installed the firm favourite. Berlusconi had a score to settle with Native Knight following his narrow loss to him in the Baikala Trophy. He looked ready to take on the set and was at the bottom of the scales, thus enjoying a weight advantage. The horses left the paddock with Onassis quoted at 5-4, Berlusconi at 5-2 and Native Knight at a lucrative 7-1. They are off and racing for the Kalumriga Turf Championship to a level start by all the runners. And as they settle down to race, it's Berlusconi on the far side just taking it up from Ciolere, quickly moving into second position. Sprint Star is towards the inside rails. A length and a quarter further back there's Airplay. They're galloping past the 800 meter marker now with Berlusconi still calling the shots. A length and a quarter in front of Ciolere in second position. 2.5 lengths further back there is Airplay. Then comes Sprint Star now being joined on the outside by Onassis. A length and a half behind comes Native Knight still in the rear as they begin to negotiate the home turn. Berlusconi comes in home first, still clear by about 2 lengths in front of Ciolere, getting a little bit closer. 2 lengths further back there's Onassis making his presence felt. Then comes Airplay towards the inside rails. Native Knight warming up on the outside. Then there is Sprint Star with about 300 meters more to run. And it's Onassis on the outside who takes it up. Onassis takes charge and goes away. He's a length and a half in front of Berlusconi towards the inside rails. Ciolere coming up on the outside. Then comes Native Knight, but they're all in futile chase. It's Onassis all the way. Onassis about 2 lengths clear of Ciolere, coming up to finish second ahead of Berlusconi. Then there's Native Knight, Sprint Star and Airplay. Onassis left nothing to chance and took charge readily as they straightened for home. Prakash was spot on with his moves and after settling in the rear for most of the journey, pounced on the first available opportunity to surge to the front. Onassis looked the winner much before the winning post.
Pace was decently run. He was beautifully settled behind. Came into straight, I was handy third. And he spurted well after that. Well, horses have their ups and downs, so maybe this is his up time. Well, whatever it was, I had to ride my waiting race and give him a chance into the straight and do my best. And he galloped really well. Well, Ciolere was a beaten horse at the furlong marker, but I just hoped that he came with a rerun from behind.
We kind of plan 1 year in advance. We're already planning for the next Kalumriga.
That's great. I mean, Onassis has won this for you twice and you've been winning the Kalumriga trophy. What's the attachment you have and the emotions behind this? Kindly reveal that to us.
Well, you know Carl's family and he was a star of racing. So it's important for us to perform well in this race, sponsored by my family. Onassis gets better as he gets older, so you know he's doing things on his own now. I really don't need to do much with him.
What are your plans with Onassis now? What's next for him? He's done everything, he's proved a lot in the span of racing time that he's had.
It's a bit early to decide that, but we'll see what sort of races are going to suit him and where we should take him. Yeah, Onassis, he's the sort of horse who knows what he likes and what he doesn't like. So, you know, I don't think we should really pursue with him in Pune because he just doesn't like the ground. And he does his best on a flat galloping track. So we should give him that.
A proud mother of a champion jockey, Mrs. Nanny Umriga, along with the Umriga family, was only too happy to present the trophy to her beloved son-in-law, Pacey Shroff. The aura on the presentation podium was emotional. Mrs. Nanny Umriga and Mr. Neville Umriga were gracious to step aside for a brief chat with Winning Post amidst their moments of personal sentiments.
I am very happy to be here, really honoured that the club has given this trophy and the children have sponsored it, and I'm really happy to be here. Thank you.
Do you remember his riding days even now?
I remember every single moment and every second.
Amazing. Now, winning on Onassis is from your own family.
Yes.
So how does it feel that you pick up a race like this?
Well, it's very special, you know, to have Pacey win the race 3 times in a row. And it means a lot to us because we are a very close family and all of us riding, and Carl was so competitive and so is Pacey. So we are really happy about that.
Tell us what you feel about Carl and Pacey if you compare them.
Well, basically, there were two different riding styles. Carl was a very passionate jockey, absolutely crazy about winning ever since he was maybe 2 or 3 years old. Pacey was a much more subdued, clear-thinking jockey who did as well as Carl. Both different styles and both successful.
Between you brothers, did you ever have any competition for riding?
Yes.
You were also a horseman.
Oh yes, absolutely. We had a lot of competition. He used to hate it when I beat him in riding, especially because I did it as a hobby. And but it was great fun.
Well, how often was it that you really beat him?
Oh, many times, many times. In fact, I was always, 3.5 years older than him. I was stronger than him, so I think it was a little easier for me to do it at that time.
And how was he at home before a race day, a big race coming his way in the morning? What was his ritual?
Very excited, very excited. But he would not talk to anybody. He would go to sleep. Aram say he would just go to sleep in the night. But very excited and very focused. Absolutely focused on whatever he wanted to do.
Would he come to you for any advice or probably peace of mind or a little bit of mental strength?
He would go to my husband all the time. He was always being guided by my husband because he was the most ardent race goer.
And how interested were you in his progress?
All the time with them. I mean, I'm the one who taught him riding. He never learned with anybody else. I'm the one who taught him how to ride.
What is it like, to miss a family member like this? He ended in such a tragic manner. How do you, accept grief like this?
There are no words to really express how one feels, and there's no way of protecting yourself or preparing yourself for something like this. You realize then, how small we really are, and that you just have to keep going, And I tried to bring my parents back to the racecourse as fast as I possibly could, after the tragic incident, because they could have just completely wanted to stop racing, But it's in our blood, it's in our family, and so we are back.
Yeah, the profession does have its own dangers. So I'm very happy you've been here. I mean, if Carl was alive today, he would have been winning a race like this as a trainer or as a jockey. He was good enough to ride all through. And thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's only fitting that Pacey Shroff, his cousin, won the Carl Umriga Trophy. Well, next up is Kingfisher Trailblazers, and I can tell you, this one really blazed the trail.
And as they wheel round the corner and straighten up for the final run-in for the Bangalore Juvenile Million Grade 3, nickel chrome towards the inside rail, still about a length and a half in front of Superstorm coming up on the outside. Then comes Owner Set towards the inside rails. There is the Treasure Mountain, Muko on the outside with about 250 meters more to run. Nickel chrome is now being challenged on the outside by Superstorm, and these two are battling it out. It's nickel chrome towards the inside rails from Superstorm on the outside. The others are out of it. It's nickel chrome from Superstorm. Nickel chrome and Superstorm, they're going stride for stride. It's nickel chrome from Superstorm. Superstorm on the outside just about wins it from nickel chrome. Then comes Owner Set as they race past the finish.
Well, it's time for a short break here on the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. We take a short break, come right back. Nanoli Blue Bloods and a look ahead to the Dubai World Cup. That's up next. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. Moving right along, next up is the Serum Institute of India. Get to know your racing pro.
Hi, my name is Karthik Ganapati. I've been a trainer for the past 5 years, and this is my story.
Karthik Ganapati's training career came about by accident. His father was retained by Dr. M.A.M. Ramaswamy, and soon Karthik was summoned by India's most prolific owner. He looks back at those circumstances.
Well, the first horse I touched and was Own Opinion, boss's favorite horse. And I was a small kid, and one day in the evening roll, Dad had taken me to the stables and somehow convinced Dad, Harris David uncle and Jagdish uncle, they're also there, convinced to make me sit on the horse. So I have one fantastic picture of me sitting on the horse with Jagdish uncle standing on one side and Dad on the other. So from then, horses have always been appealed to me. During college and the weekends, I was not allowed to come into the racecourse. Dad would never let me come into the racecourse. So quietly, I used to sneak into the racecourse in Bangalore, stand in the jockey stand quietly, watch a couple of races and run back home. And after that, when I started working on the weekends, I used to come racing. I used to help out Dad in his accounts and stabling management, and when he's traveling, the stables slowly got into racing. It was a series of events that led to me becoming a trainer. Dad had undergone a bypass in 2006, Feb of 2006, and at that time I used to help out Dad in the stabling work before he had his heart attack. During that period, Dr. Ramaswamy asked me whether I could come and join Dad and work with him. And when the racing baron asks you, you don't say no.
Karthik's relationship with Dr. Ramaswamy is more than just professional, it's personal.
Well, Dr. Ramaswamy is the legend of Indian racing, and I'm very, very grateful that he's given me this opportunity to train for him. You know, he's won more than 500 classics, 550 as of now, and the counter keeps ticking. And I'm just blessed to be part of that list and to be training for him. And he's a wonderful person. He's in touch with you every day. He guides you, he gives you advice. And initially when I became a trainer, the amount of knowledge and advice and guidance he's given me is unparalleled. I don't think anyone could have given me so much guidance in the first 2 years especially. Dr. Ramaswamy has seen me from I was a small baby. My dad was working with Dr. Ramaswamy from when my dad was 17 years old. So the association goes back a long way. And I don't address him as sir, I call him uncle. So that's the kind of relationship we share.
And the first winner for the young trainer?
First winner, it was a very funny thing. Dr. Ramaswamy was down in Bangalore summer. I got my license of 2006 Bangalore summer. Dr. Ramaswamy was down there. He said we should have a winner the first week, and that time I was A licensed in Bangalore. And the first runner I had was sweeping success. It was a class 4 7 furlong race, and believe it or not, she got beat. She came in second, and it took me 2 good weeks. You know, I had some 10, 12 runners. All of them ran second, third. And finally, my first winner came in boss's son's colours. The horse's name was Star Summit, and we thought he'll run a good race, but he just came and managed to win. So that was my first winner, and it was in Dr. Ramaswamy's son's colours, Mr. M.M. Muthaya's colours. And immediately the next race, I won my first race for boss's colours.
And what about his take on his favourite tracks in India?
Between Bombay and Bangalore, I can't pick sides, but when it comes to the racetrack, I prefer Bombay. It's a flat track, it's one of the best tracks in the world. But when it comes to year-round racing, I prefer Bangalore because we don't have to shift to Pune to Bombay, and we're always on the move in Pune and Bombay. But in Bangalore, you get to stay in the same place, and I was born in Tamil Nadu, but did my schooling, college, everything in Bangalore. I have a lot of friends.
But who is Karthik Ganapati away from the stables?
Outside of the race course, Karthik Ganapati is very interested in sports. I used to be an inline speed skater. I used to be a very good 300-meter time trial specialist. I've participated in the nationals. I've represented India in open championships in Europe. And that's the sports part of me. I like reading books. I'm not a very big movie buff, but I managed to catch a couple of them once in a way.
There was once a rumor that Karthik wanted to be an actor.
Yeah, well, when it comes to acting, during college I've done a lot of stage plays, a lot of theatre, Kannada theatre, T.P. Kailasan plays, Girish Karnad plays, and it's great fun. The amount you learn, the amount you grow as a person, interacting with so many people, from the sets to the director and your co-artist. It's something else. I've worked in the banking sector, I've worked in the IT sector, but somehow I got dragged into racing. You know? I think I was always destined to be a trainer.
In his young career, has there been any horse that's been special?
Well, this fellow is the best horse I've trained. He's Forest Flair. He's arguably one of the top horses I've trained till date. And he's a very sweet chap. But the favourite horse of mine is personified. I hope this fellow doesn't mind me saying that. But the reason I like Favorite Horses Personified is because he had a lot of problems and he took care of himself very nicely. But no, you're my favorite. You're the best horse. You're the best horse. He is the best horse for this play.
And is there a message that Karthik has for those who will come after him?
Well, for trainers that are going to come into the picture, work hard, get to know your horses, love them, and the moment you start taking care of them, they'll give you all the results in the world.
Well, and Karthik Ganpathi's had a super Bombay season. We hope it continues over in Pune. Next up, though, talking about blue blood is Nanoli Blue Bloods. Even as the first quarter of 2012 comes to a close, the excitement over in Europe surrounds the start of the new flat season. While the classics are naturally the focus of every racing pundit, the true thrill seekers are awaiting the return of Frankel, the wonder horse from 2011. Frankel's achievements are legendary, and not surprisingly, he is the top earner on the general sires list for 2011 when considering Europe. His sire Galileo topped the general sires list when calculated based on earnings, with an astonishing earnings of over 11 million Australian dollars. A faraway second was Monjou, who sired the Epsom Derby winner Pourmua with earnings of over 6 million US dollars. Interestingly, both Galileo and Monjou are sons of Sadler's Wells, a fact that yet again drives home the point that Sadler's Wells is one of the greatest sire influences in the history of horse racing. Lomitas, the son of Nininski, was third on the earning list as his daughter Daydream stormed home in the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe in 2011. When considering the general sires list based on winners, Invincible Spirit edges out Galileo by just 2 winners at the top of the chart. Oasis Dream, who is 4th on this list, was also 4th on the earnings list, proving that Green Desert, who sired both Invincible Spirit and Oasis Dream, is yet another prolific sire influence. Well, it's time for a short break here on the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. When we come back, Morning Glories, Tipping Tim, that's up next. We'll preview the Dubai World Cup. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post, and the richest race in the world is in fact the Dubai World Cup. That's this weekend. Let's take a look at what we have in store for us. The Dubai World Cup is the richest race of the year, and this year's revival on the 31st of March has a lineup of 14 for the 2000-meter race on the dirt. The intriguing entry of So You Think from the powerful Ballydoyle stable will test the middle distance specialist on the dirt against surface specialists not just from the UAE but from the US as well. So You Think is worth a touch according to Tipping Tim, who is looking for another strong performance from the Singapore runners in the 2 sprints. Rocket Man will defend his title in the Golden Shaheen, while Better Be the One will make a second attempt at the Alcos, which is a furlong shorter. Rocket Man, who took some time to recover from his trip to Japan, seems to be peaking yet again at the right time and is Tipping Tim's best bet of the evening. Well, that's all we have on this episode of the Fly Kingfisher Winning Post. As always, we'll be back with plenty more action. Till I see you, thanks for joining me, and as always, may the horse be with you.
Fly Kingfisher Winning Post is powered by the Serum Institute of India and Hirko Industries.